Welcome to Shark Week on Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review Piranha Sharks. People love sharks.
Directed by Leigh Scott, starring Collin Galyean, Josh Hammond, Ramona Mallory, John Wells, and Amy Blackman. This movie is about genetically modified sharks that are microscopic or get to the size of piranhas. After being a failed military experiment, they're sold worldwide to young kids as this year's #1 Christmas present. And now it's up to a group of exterminators to save New York. So what do we like?
I liked that this film took place during Christmas. It's kind of refreshing.
It's a little bit different, and I genuinely thought it was not going to be a shark movie because the music is all Christmas. There's so much Christmas atmosphere. It starts off with just like a shot of snow. I did like the concept of piranha sharks. I think it's cool to have little microscopic sharks because that allows them to be able to be in New York City because they can exist in drinks and bathtubs. There's so many different places where these little sharks can come from that you're just waiting to see what they can do.
And I like that the whole idea of how the sharks became the threat was they're just selling them like sea monkeys. A present for kids this holiday.
Yeah, there's no festival that needs to keep going to keep the city up. Well, they were gonna bomb Manhattan, so that would have really shut down little Timmy when he's opening gifts on Christmas.
I did like some of the characters in this film. John Wells, who plays Wally, is probably the most enjoyable. We've seen him in other films like Overtime with, coincidentally, Al Snow, who's also in this movie. He's just a beefcake and a fun guy.
What we're talking about characters, now I didn't really love Jackson's character. He was fine enough, made lots of cringeworthy jokes, but I wanted to mention that he looks identical to Lee from Drum Dums and Killer Flicks. I just thought it was so weird.
I'm gonna give them credit for their cameos, because you can't take this movie serious, and the fact that they had Al Snow, Kevin Sorbo, and Jose Canseco, they pretty much were spot on with those cameos. It wasn't good, but I appreciate the cameos. I would love to see more Al Snow stuff. The Jose Canseco stuff was way out in left field. Baseball pun.
Got it. Thank you, John.
But I mean, Kevin Sorbo was a good mayor.
He still got it. I think Jose Canseco was my favorite little bit, probably of the whole movie, because it was so cringy.
We just didn't really have much in common.
And then we found piranha sharks. These things saved our relationship completely. They're my sunshine after a long, cold winter.
You know that they're trying so hard to be funny, and you're just like, oh, fuck, you're botching it. And I think Jose Canseco is one of those guys.
You don't know anything about my babies, okay? They're my babies.
Actually, probably one of the craziest moments was Benny at the end of the film, where all of a sudden he became like badass and just like knocked the doctor out.
I can't believe you just hit a chick.
She had it coming, bro.
Now, it wouldn't be a shark movie without mentioning some babes. And there are lots of babes in this movie. There's strippers.
Keep walking, Trick. I will cut you.
Kevin Sorbo's secretaries or assistants. He's got like a whole harem of them. Well, there isn't any nudity. There's some eye candy. And if you're not into women and you want a hunk, John Wells, when he reveals his body,
My God.
he is a beefcake. Now, what didn't we like? The comedy in this movie is absolute trash. It is the lowest tier quality that we may have seen.
I'm liking the makeup stuff you guys got going on. Do you put it on each other?
I do my own makeup.
Other movies, you're like, you can laugh at because like it's cringy and it's, okay, you really tried. And there were points in this that were really funny in a cringy way, but fuck. I would say 95% of the jokes that they tried in this film absolutely failed and missed the mark.
You're not carrying your weight around here, man. Okay. Now do you feel better? No. Oh.
It knew it wanted to be a comedy movie. It thought it wanted to be a shark movie, and it felt like it needed to be a Christmas movie. But when you take all of that and throw it into one genre, it's just a hot mess.
And there's hostages. There's like a burglary type situation. It's just all over the place. And there's so many different characters doing their own thing that don't really matter. They just try to put in everything and like nearly none of it makes sense. For example, why was that one woman just dressed as a clown? They thought that would be funny. Why did this other girl have to have Tourette's and be this weird doctor?
Try not to be too aggressive. He's extra fidgety today. Brown nipple.
What was with the interaction in the hostage situation between the wife and Dominique?
They just start talking about makeup and hair for an abnormal amount of time. Which leads me to the editing. Well, the movie looks fine enough. It's of quality visually. However, all of the scenes last a hair too long that makes every scene feel really awkward. If somebody talks, they'll leave like 2 extra seconds that usually in every other movie would be trimmed. And they'll just be like, hey, how's it going? Before they cut away. It's just so fucking strange.
Yeah, they don't use any L or J cuts in any of their conversation pieces. And the most notable and the most awkward is at the beginning of the film when the toy marketing company is having their meeting. You can get bored when you just have dead air.
Monkeys on steroids.
25 million a year?
Wow, that's lowball.
So, what do you say? Partner?
Shark movies. You should have awesome shark kills. This didn't. I think this might come in part with the fact that these are little baby micro sharks. So what are they supposed to do? You're gonna see them gobble somebody up? Probably not. But basically they'll get in somebody and the person just has to flail around like a Muppet a little bit.
Like the one guy in the bar got like wrapped around with like 100 sharks. That's it. Like you don't get to see anything cool. You get one practical piranha shark, but that's it. The rest of it is really bad CGI.
And most of them are like really small that you don't even know what the hell's happening. Like a girl's having a bath and then she just has to flop around. It's so fucking bad. Shark movies you're used to, red dye in the water. A shark killed them. But man, look at this shit.
And it's not just the sharks that look bad. It's like they bought a pack of like 3D vehicles and just said, we have to use it in every scene. And we just gotta throw a meeting on a rooftop. Airplanes flying through the skies, choppers landing on the ground. Like, let's make this movie intense. Let's not focus on the sharks. Let's focus on the aircrafts. We did touch base on the music with like it be like Christmas themed and stuff, but the soundtrack itself, it just didn't feel right. It was stereotypical genre music. It's like, we want to make a sexy scene, so we're gonna put on some like really bad music. We want to make an intense scene, we're gonna put on some really bad music. It's like someone just went on YouTube and just typed in like helicopter drop. That was the first music that came up. They're like, done. This is what we're playing.
Yeah, I feel like next to no thought was put into the music, or many of the jokes, or much of anything. I think that most people probably one-taked every single line that they did in this movie because it's a throwaway film for sci-fi. I get it. They just crank these things out.
And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna offer them a heartfelt apology. Shed some tears.
Blanket statement, just really mad that they wasted Al Snow's cameo. Let him go off to the basement. Let him do more than talking to a plant.
Now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings. Piranha Sharks was not a great film. It was one of the worst shark movies, I would bet. But I think I say that more often than not. This one, while highly produced, just had some of the most terrible jokes that I've ever heard. It's super cringy, and I can't imagine that a lot of people are really going to love the comedy in this film. There are some fun moments, and you are going to laugh out loud out of shock. But that's it. Everything else is pretty boring. It's just a bunch of people going in different directions. There's just a lot of things going on, and much of which has nothing to do with sharks or piranhas. And when the piranha sharks are finally let loose, it's like 10 minutes before the end of the movie, and they immediately kill them all, and it sucks. It was just boring. So I'm gonna give this 1 terrible dive or awesome belly flop out of 5.
You know what you're getting into, and even though you know this, it's still a bad movie, and that's what's disappointing about it, because you can't even have fun with it. The jokes are all over the place. Some of them are funny, a lot of them are not. Our characters, some of them are likable, a lot of them are not. The sharks, they're not even there. They're little guppies. I will give credit with the production value of this film. Some of the actors did a really good job, but at the end of the day, this is supposed to be a shark movie. It doesn't matter if it's taking place on Christmas, but if you don't have sharks in a shark movie, then it's not fun. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this film 1 awkward motorboat out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, there are links in the description where you can find it. And be sure to subscribe so that you can come back tomorrow for another shark movie review. Coming all Shark Week, baby. Peace.